All right, today we're diving deep into a powerhouse strategy for unlocking client wealth, the buy, borrow, die framework. We're going to break down how it works, where it can go wrong, and most importantly, how you can bring a much better solution to the table.
So this is the million-dollar question, right? Literally. Your client has built this incredible wealth. It's all tied up in appreciated assets, but the second they go to sell a piece of it, boom, a massive tax bill is waiting for them. So how do we get them the liquidity they need without triggering that huge taxable event? That's the puzzle we're solving today.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start with that core wealth dilemma, walk through the classic buy, borrow, die playbook, and then we'll uncover the risks lurking just beneath the surface. From there, we'll get into a really powerful integrated solution that gives you a massive strategic advantage. Okay, so the fundamental challenge we're all tackling with our clients is this. How do you get cash out of these highly appreciated assets, stocks, real estate, art, you name it, when the unrealized gain is just enormous? Selling is almost always the worst possible option.
And this is so crucial. Our goal here isn't just about chasing investment returns. It's about generating what we call tax alpha. This is about creating real wealth through smart tax planning. It's how top-tier advisors separate themselves from the pack. It's all about keeping as much of that hard-earned growth as you possibly can for the client.
All right, let's get into the classic playbook. This whole three-step strategy really hinges on two absolute pillars of the U.S. tax code: the deferral of capital gains, and of course, the step-up in basis at death.
And it's actually beautiful in its simplicity. Step 1, you buy and hold assets that are not only going to appreciate, but are also lendable, stuff a bank is happy to give you a loan against. Step 2, instead of selling to get cash, you borrow against those assets. Now this is the secret sauce right here, because loan proceeds are not taxable income. And step 3, you die. Sounds grim, I know, but at death, the tax code gives this incredible reset that basically just washes away all those embedded capital gains.
And this just perfectly illustrates the power of that borrow step. I mean, look at this. Your client needs $100,000. To get that by selling, they might have to liquidate $150,000 of their portfolio just to cover the taxes. They lose that capital and all its future growth forever. But by borrowing, they get the full $100K, pay zero tax on it, and their entire asset base gets to stay on the market, continuing to compound. It's a game changer.
But, and this is a big but, as a great advisor, your job is to look under the hood. Just relying on this traditional approach, especially using things like securities-backed lines of credit, or SBLOCs, comes with some really significant risks that can absolutely torpedo the entire plan.
And these risks are no joke. You've got market risk, obviously. If the portfolio value tanks, so does the value of your collateral. Then there's interest rate risk. Most of these SBLOCs have variable rates, so your client's borrowing costs can spike unexpectedly. And finally, there's a sneaky one, portfolio risk. You're basically forced to just sit on your hands and hold a static portfolio because any rebalancing triggers the exact tax you were trying to avoid in the first place. You're kind of handcuffed. Now, what's really fascinating is how all these risks kind of bundle together into the single biggest threat of all, a margin call. You get a sharp market downturn, and suddenly the lender is on the phone demanding more collateral, or even worse, forcing your client to sell assets at the absolute worst possible time. This triggers a massive tax bill in a down market. It is the ultimate failure of this entire strategy.
Okay, so for your ultra-high net worth clients, believe it or not, things get even more complicated. The standard estate planning moves we make for them can actually create a fundamental conflict with that all-important die step.
So let's just pause and make sure we're all crystal clear on this concept. The step up in basis simply means that when your heirs inherit that stock, their new cost basis isn't what you paid for it, it's what it was worth on the day you died. All that appreciation that happened during your lifetime, poof, forgiven for income tax purposes. This is the magic that lets the heirs sell a piece of the asset tax-free to pay off the loan. But here's the paradox. To avoid that 40% federal estate tax, what do? We advise clients to move assets into irrevocable trusts to get them outside the taxable estate. But here's the massive catch. Assets outside the estate do not get a step up in basis. So in solving the estate tax problem, you've just completely broken the income tax solution. Now, the old school workaround for this is a pretty complex move called a swap power. Basically, it lets the client, right before they pass away, swap cash into the trust to pull that appreciated asset back into their personal estate.
It's this last-minute Hail Mary attempt to get the step up, but honestly, it's clunky, and it relies on perfect timing when things are often at their most chaotic. It's not ideal.
So this all raises a really important question. What if there was a more elegant, more integrated vehicle that could do everything buy, borrow, die is supposed to do, but it also solves for all these risks and complexities we've been talking about? Well, there is, and it's properly structured cash value life insurance.
I mean, just look how perfectly this mirrors the original framework, but it's all contained within a single, purpose-built chassis that's governed by some very favorable sections of the tax code. The cash value grows tax-deferred, the client can borrow against it completely tax-free using policy loans, and then at death, the income tax-free death benefit essentially acts as a synthetic cost basis. It pays off any loans, and the rest transfers to the heirs, all without a dime of income tax.
And the advantages just pop right off the page when you put them side by side. With an SBLOC, your investment control is static. Inside a life insurance policy, you can rebalance the investments dynamically, with no tax consequences. That huge risk of a margin call, it's replaced by a policy structure that acts as a natural buffer. The loans are private, they're non-reportable, offering so much more privacy. And in most states, the creditor protection is way, way better.
So, what does this all mean for you and your practice? It means you can move beyond offering a simple, kind of risky strategy and start delivering an integrated, robust, and truly superior solution. This is how you build an incredible value proposition.
You can now offer your clients a volatility buffer, using policy loans to deleverage their SBLOC if the market gets shaky. You can use the policy as a tax-free rebalancing hub where you can actively manage investments without tax drag. You offer them enhanced privacy. And here's the ultimate move. You place the policy inside an irrevocable life insurance trust, or an ILET, and that death benefit becomes free from both income and estate taxes. We're talking total tax elimination.
So I'll leave you with this one question to think about for your own practice. Are you just offering your clients a complex loophole that's full of hidden risks? Or are you delivering a truly comprehensive solution that integrates tax-efficient growth, tax-free access, and tax-free transfer all into one elegant strategy? The answer to that is what's going to define the value you bring to your most important clients.